Hey guys, Justin here with JHart Modelworks, coming to you from the ridiculously hot garage. It's like 11 o'clock, it's still 90 degrees out here, it's crazy. The scale model garage is done. And by done, I mean that it's most of what I originally had planned, if not all of it, is in there and it is ready to go to the dedicated Scale Enthusiast Super Show this Saturday, September the 21st. By the time you're watching this, I will most likely already be there. And you should too if you're in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Come hang out with us. It's going to be a blast. But for right now, let's go ahead and take a look at what we've got with the garage. Alright guys, it is shaky cam time, but here she is in all of her finished glory. I'm going to go in and do a slow sweep over everything, and then we'll go in and take a look at some more details. And the AC is going to kick on, so it's going to get kind of noisy. Alright, so before we take a closer look at the details, I do want to go over the electronics because I've completely redesigned this system. This is the old electronics box. I was using these breadboard jumpers in here for everything, and I had these three-way rocker switches. So you can see in here I had a breadboard, and you just have these tiny little pins in them. These are very loose. None of this was super tight, so it was more organized than what I have, but it wasn't working real well. We also used to have two battery packs in here. I've scavenged some parts to rebuild the new box, and we've got our DC plug-in here on the end. This was pretty tall. It barely fits in the opening in the back. When I was bumping these jumpers, so the breadboard connectors, I was bumping them all the time and bending them. And these little breadboard pins, I used to have one over here that I was going to show you, but I have lost it. So you can see there how thin those little pins are. You bend these too many times, they break. I've already had to replace like 4 of these. I was getting tired of it. Also, I was getting some really weird behavior out of it. So I mentioned in the last video I was not getting nearly as much light as I had expected. And I still don't get as much light as I thought I was going to get out of 20 LEDs, but I get a lot more on the new system. If I just touched the rockers at all, the lights would flicker. Just anything would flicker. Look, I could touch either one of these. It didn't matter which rocker switch, and all the under the desk and stuff would start flickering. So I'm running 2 amps through here. That should be plenty enough to run all of these LEDs at full power. But if I turn the lower circuit on, the ceiling circuit would dim regardless, But if I had the ground circuit on and I turned the ceiling circuit on, it didn't dim those. So I would figure that if it was just not enough current, that it would have dimmed the lower level circuit when I turned on the ceiling, and it wasn't. It only dimmed the ceiling when I turned on the garage. So there had to have been some kind of a short or a bad wiring or something. I was just getting a lot of problems. Like I said, I had to replace 4 of the pins, and that's a pain because you've got to cut the wire, solder in a new wire, heat shrinking, all that jazz. And I wasn't really happy with the way it was performing. Another thing I was noticing with this one was some of these worked better than others. Like this one on the ceiling, the lights barely lit up at all. If I was in this one, I had more light. It was kind of the same with one of these down here in the garage. Like it just did not work well at all. I think one of them had stopped working completely. But like I got different levels of light depending on where I was plugged in here. On the new one, it doesn't matter where it's plugged in, everything is exactly the same. So this is the new box. We're using DC power plugs with these little pigtails. These are a lot more stable. They're very solid. They don't wiggle, they don't bend. We have a different brand of 3-way switches. These are a lot more stable. They do not wiggle like the other ones do. So that makes these, so I don't have any problems with things flickering, things of that nature. We still have our DC plug down here for DC power. We are only 1 box tall. So even with these plugs in here, so I can have these plugged in like that, and I still have plenty of room to slide this in and out of that back opening back there, which makes it really nice because I can keep everything nice and clean. So as you see, everything is wired together and soldered. There is no breadboard anymore. So we have our 2 battery packs down here on this side, right next to the DC power. All of our wiring comes down in here. A lot of it just gets tucked up in there. So that closes down, and I do not have any concerns with the power. Everything is working a lot more stable. So I'm a lot happier with the new electronic setup. All right, so in more detail, we're gonna start with the motorcycle here. This is a Ducati, I forget which model number it is. It's supposedly carbon fiber. And we got the helmet over here. Now the helmet right now is just being held down with some blue tack. I haven't quite decided where I want to put it. I don't know if I want to maybe add some trophies in here and then move this over on top of the gas tank or back here on the back. I don't know. So right now it's just being held in place with some blue tack. So all these little logos like this are on sheet metal, so they look like they're actual metal signs, as is our motorcycle parking sign. Like he just, maybe swiped a motorcycle parking sign or something. We have our license plate wall full of license plates, some of the various plates that I have put on cars in the past. We have our barn door. So all of the artwork that is in frames are scaled actual poster sizes. We've added our fire extinguishers. I've also added some glass security gates to the elevator. So the elevator can come out, and there's little slots in there that you can place it wherever you want. It does not stay real well up here. This one broke up at the top, and I just put a piece of sheet metal over the top of it, but it doesn't hold real well, so I'm keeping it down here for right now. Again, we have another set of clear glass security gates up here. We've added some speakers We've added a first aid kit and a trash can up top. We have several magazines on the table. Some dedicated enthusiast magazines. Remote control, a little Monster energy drink. I made blue shop towels. That is Viva, they call it multi-purpose cloth. It has a different texture than paper towel. So I mixed up some water and blue food coloring and soaked the paper towel in it and then let it dry. And that gave me the blue shop towel color. A little bit of trash done in the trash can. Some of these are concert posters, are actual concert posters. There's a Pink Floyd concert poster. We also have made some clear 3D printed bottles. Now, a lot of the bottles I got from Colts 3D, but I made all of the labels. And then the Diorama Amaretto bottle here, I 3D modeled that one myself. Again, all the labels are mine. The glasses are mine. Those are kind of difficult to print. They don't like to print well. Clear resin is really hard to 3D print. Because it's clear, the UV light travels through it and clears layers that you've already printed. It's kind of hard to get it to print clean. So all of the electrical stuff has wall outlets and has electrical cords. We also have a scale model car collection. These are 1/24th scale, 1/24th scale model cars. I designed the display case myself. That is 0.5 millimeter clear sheet plastic that I'm using for the glass. Again, you can see we've got an electrical plug for that. It goes into our wall sockets. We have light switches over here next to the storage room. And in this corner, we will start with our trash can. Lots of little bits of trash and oil cans, Monster energy cans, Coke cans, paper towels, cardboard boxes, lots of stuff in there. We've got a stack of wheels. Those are some wheels that I had left over from the Mustang build. And they've got a little bit of polish on them from where I just recently polished the floor. I'll come back in here with a brush and brush all that off before we take it. My buddy Diedrich gave me this gas pump from Iceman Collections. I did 3D print up some barrels. I custom designed the hand cranks. And for the oil that's on top, I was gonna go buy a thing of motor oil, but I went and looked and they're wanting like $13 for a single quart of motor oil. Now my wife had just had my car, the oil done in my car. Our mechanic is across the street from her work. So I went and I just pulled my dipstick out, squeezed off a few drops into a mixing cup, and then brushed it in place with a paintbrush. Again, all the logos are mine. I tried to do the lettering so that they was a little fuzzy, like someone had just laid up a stencil and rattle canned it. And I don't think they're gonna do like super pristine work in a barrel factory. But yeah, you can kind of see the oil around the base of. I thought that was a kind of nice touch. I have gone and added my 3D printers as well as a big old jug of isopropyl alcohol, some Tech Fast resin. Again, we have electrical plugs going to both of our machines. We have the Elegoo Saturn 3 Ultra and a Anycubic washing cure. I modeled up a breaker box panel. I couldn't find one of those. A lot of the stuff that I personally designed, I am going to go back and add to my Colts 3D page. I'm just trying to get ready for the show. So we got some Weber carburetors up here in this cardboard box. Again, I modeled up some speakers. The cardboard boxes are actually cool. So I 3D printed up some boxes and I tried to paint them brown, and they came out really, really bad. They looked terrible. My daughter's girlfriend came over and brought her and Livian a bunch of food from McDonald's. There's two different bags from McDonald's. There's a thin one, like your individual hamburger and like French fries come in, and that's too thin. But they also have this big bag, and that big bag has the perfect thickness for cardboard boxes. It looks perfect. I 3D modeled up some funnels and oil filter wrenches. We've got lots of oil cans in here, odds and ends, bottles, stuff like that. We've also got another box up here that's got some valve covers, the Mopar stuff. We've got some Ford racing valve covers and whatnot down here. My wife was adamant that the little stool needed to roll, and technically it does roll. This is from Motoboss. I think it's free. I could be wrong, but I think this might be free. But it does print up in a whole bunch of individual parts, and it does technically roll, but because of how slick the floor is, it doesn't roll, it slides. Some more magazines, a light switch in there, an alternator, some parts, just some stuff to make the desk look like it's being used. We have a computer, we've got a laptop, a little external monitor. Looks like he's watching one of my YouTube videos there while he's drinking a Monster. Has a Coke can left over. Some more magazines. There's polish everywhere. I'm gonna have to come in here and just wipe this all down, because this is not going to be acceptable for me when I take this. But that's okay. We've got some creepers in there, some more artwork. My wife said that 2 was not enough. I needed a third fire extinguisher, so we've got one over here. There's one in the lounge. There's one by the elevator. So Miss JHart Modelworks, my code enforcement person, has got me on the straight and narrow. So yeah, just all sorts of signs and art. This is pretty much what I would want my garage to look like if I ever won the lottery. So on the entry form, I called it the Lottery Dreams Garage. All right, guys, that is a wrap for this video. It is still crazy hot out here. It's like 11:30 at night. I am pouring down sweat. That's what happens when you get old. 1 out of 10 stars. Absolutely do not recommend. Avoid at all costs. I'm ready to get in there and get in some AC. From here, my plans are Saturday, of course, I'm going to the dedicated show. Sunday, my plans are to try and clean up my work areas. The garage is a disaster from where I've been building this thing. My desk, my work desk in there where I normally record my videos and stuff, that is an absolute nightmare. It looks like a tornado hit it. So we definitely want to get all that cleaned up. And then we can start working on unboxings for Pops' 78 Trans Am and for the 68 Super B for the Insomnia Hobbies memorial build that I'm doing. So yeah, that's going to be coming up next. Thanks for hanging out with me, guys. I always appreciate you watching, and I will catch you on the next one.